Alafia families. Power is ultimate. I know we were supposed to go live on YouTube. Our schedule did not permit it at 7 o'clock. We are going live on our private platforms, KwofiKhAn.com. Please become a member. For anyone who wants deeper information, African Traditional Religionist Academy on Patreon is available for deeper classes on such topics. But thank you for tuning in. Thank you for giving me your time, your respect, and your honor, being able to teach you. Thank you for trusting me. But we're going to talk about spirit guides. We're going to talk about 5 ways and signs that you know that your spirit guides is making themselves present in your life. And we're going to talk about the different types of spirit guides. So what is spirit guides? Many people have a lot of different opinions on what a spirit guide can be, on what they do to our life. But this is pretty much exactly how it sounds. This is the entity or a deity or an energy or a force of nature that is going to make its duty or its responsibility guiding you through this human experience. It either already lived the human experience, didn't get granted to come down to this earth, or just part of the velocity or part of the frequency that you're part of, making sure that you become successful, reaching your destiny, reaching your order, walking the path that you're supposed to walk, correct? The first things I want to start off by saying before we get into the signs and the different forms of spirit guides is that there's a couple of moments that we need to take time to think about. You must be careful when you are dealing with your ancestors. You must respect and honor the ancestors. Even people who deal with Orisa, you need to have a connection with your ancestors first. Never skip over the ancestors. We have ancestor clotting and we have upsetting the ancestors, and you never want to get into this realm. I can tell you that. You should always pay respects. How do you pay respects? You can pour libations. You can give offerings, right? The libations, it can be water, it can be alcohol, etc. You need to pay homage to these individuals through cleansings, keeping their station, their altars, their shrines clean, being devoted through sacrifice. So giving them money, giving them food, giving them other offerings. And you should do it every week. You should do it maybe every Sunday or every Monday. You should be addressing your ancestors, not only praying and asking them for things, but changing out their water, giving them libations and giving them offerings, and sitting next to the altars and the shrines and talking to them, correct? Now, we also have different things that we must keep in mind about body signals. But your body will send you signals. Having the home protected is big when you're dealing with these ancestors, and learning how to tap into certain amulets, right? And we'll talk about certain items in a minute. Understand that these deities, these ancestors, or just other deities, even like Orisa or just energies and entities in general, we must understand that some of them has past life soul contracts. And we're not going to get too much into Igbe. For anyone who do want information on Igbe or Igbe Oru, we will create a whole different video for that. We need a lot of time specifically just talking about Igbe. So we're not going to talk about Igbe in this, but that is something that's where I'm speaking about like past lives, spiritual communities, having entities that's from the so-called heavens that is trying to help guide you here or usher you on your path, correct? We must keep in mind, going back to like upsetting ancestors and spirits and different things like that. If your ancestor was shitty here, excuse my French, but if he was a bad person here, he's going to be a bad person in the spiritual realm. So we got to understand about non-transitioning spirits. Sometimes spirits hinder your growth because they're kind of lingering around, right? They're kind of just stand here with stagnant energy and they're not trying to transition into the next world. Some energies don't have the capability to transition based on what is aligned with their specific journey. So that's just something to keep in mind with. And that brings me into like generational curses. Speaking about ancestors, speaking about other deities that have your same DNA lineage. Generational curses can be passed down. So your great-great-grandfather could be a non-transitioning spirit that's just kind of like, lingering around in the human world. And he skipped over your father or your mother. Maybe they was protected up. Maybe your grandmother put a hedge over her children. So your father, your mother didn't exactly run into bad hindrance from this spirit. but the hedge wasn't put on you. You didn't go through the cleansings. You didn't go through the conscious level of awakening. So this spirit found a weaker spiritual being, which was you, maybe even at a younger age, as like a baby or an adolescent or a juvenile, and they attached themselves to you. And this is why the generational curses can become amplified, because you have these non-transitioning spirits here, and the things that they have did that was wrong in their life had stayed with them energetically. So once they leech their self onto you, and if you don't know about proper ancestral connections, this can be a problem. So that's just something to go into. Another thing is how someone asked previously, what is the main way to sense that these spirits is around? And there's many different ways to sense it. And we will go through that, like the science, of course. But the one thing I did want to say is the 9 portal activation, the 99th dynasty. Shout out to the 9 lords. The 9 portal activation. By this, I mean the third eye activation, correct? The 9 portal activation is true awakening, true walking in the path, even if it's reincarnation, correct? So walking to get your destiny, your mission, your goal complete. The third eye awakening, which everyone should be careful. I never want to be responsible for anyone opening their third eye or activating their third eye. Do that when you are ready. But if you are trying to sense more signs, if you are trying to walk in the frequency, make sure that you have your chakras unblocked. And I'm just saying chakras because do not start with the third eye. Start with the root or the heart chakra or something else like that. Or the crown chakra. Work your way up or work your way down. Don't start with the third eye. I can't say that. I do want to say about, which we will speak about, the different signs. And we'll just get to that. I'll come back to it. So what are different types of spirit guides? Correct? The first things I want to speak about is, and like I said, I'm kind of going off my notes and just going off my basic information here. But you got non-terrestrial beings and deities and different things like that, right? These are luminous spirits. These spirits, they say, sit at the, they sit or kneel by the altar. So if you have an ancestral altar, you have a boveda set up, they will be sitting or kneeling by this altar, correct? And they're kind of always around. They're not exactly, they don't have to be part of your family. They could have just seen your frequency, seen your vibration, and made themselves a part of your journey, or you are a part of this spiritual community in general, and they found themselves to show themselves to you. These are elevated beings. These are benevolent beings. These beings have a higher calling here, correct? You can get in touch with these through basic offerings and ancestral venerations and different things like that. You should usually go to the candles. When we speak about candles, because someone spoke about the candles, go to white, go to yellow. You can use orange, or I would use maybe like baby blue. I always tell people it's all about personal beliefs. So if you have a bad connection with the color yellow, that is based on your personal aura, your personal destiny, and no one can say that you need to use that yellow candle. Go for white, go for orange, go for something else, correct? So that's just something that I want to, a tidbit that I wanted to put in there. The next ones I want to speak about is astral realm spirits. Now, astral realm spirits are silent. They don't speak to you. They usually don't show their self. They are present in your journey. They do work. They do have a duty and a job in your life, but they are silent. These are elevated celestial beings as well. Sometimes people say these are cosmo light beings. These are star seeds. These are what we call indigo children. So individuals who become indigo children in their human life, when they transition, they won't have to worry about non-transitioning. So when they transition, they don't have to worry about staying on earth. They will be elevated to a so-called heaven or just the celestial realm. And this is when they will be able to be more beneficial. And like I say, this is selected indigo children who were humans, but tapped into a specific essence and got granted to become one of these astral beings. Now, I want to take time to speak about animals and plants. It's a Native American tale that said that when God was creating the earth during the 7 days and 7 nights time frame type of ideology, they said that God asked all the animals that was created during this time. If you stay up during the 7 days, if you were to stay awake during the 7 days of the creation of the earth, I will grant you blessings and elevated essences. These animals, most of these animals became nocturnal animals. So certain breeds of snakes, owls, even certain bears, usually spirit animals that we can find. And this is what I want to get to, right? Some of these are totem. So when you see those totem poles where they have the hawk, where they have the owl, they have the bear, they have the snake, they have the deer, they have the wolf, they have the rat, they have the chicken, they have the rooster. They have the mouse, correct? These totem animals is what they were trying to speak of. And also you have plant essences too. So psychoactive plants are considered spirit guides. Ayahuasca, bufo, rape. Nowadays, magic mushrooms is played out, but even psychoactive psilocybin mushrooms and different things like that are considered deities of a spiritual spirit guide. And the plant form, correct? You have what we call darkened plants. I call them darkened plants, really is shadow plants. These plants are those psychoactive plants that have something to teach you in spirit and mind. So when you get on these bufos, ayahuasca, rape, they have messages enfolded in these substances for you to make sure your spirit can elevate during this human experience, correct? Now, sometimes you have to see that these spirit animals are connected to us. This is what the Chinese was trying to tell us, like during the zodiac and different things like that, that these were connected to us. Sometimes you see them, sometimes you don't. But if you are prone to seeing owls, or if you are prone to seeing bears, if you have a deeper connection to wolves, could be your spirit animal trying to guide you through. Ashe? Now, normal spirits. I want to take time to talk about normal spirits because we're going to go into ancestral energy. So we have spirits that is prone to hold your hand through this life. They're going to walk with their hand on your shoulder, kind of nudging you and guiding you. When it's time to turn right, they're going to nudge you right. When it's time to turn left, they're going to nudge you left. These are the ones that's going to stay with you throughout your life. These are the main ones. Now I'm speaking about spirits in like a general plateau because you can have many of these. Sometimes like non-terrestrial or celestial or those astral beings or those spirit animals, you might have like one or two. With these spirits, some people can have up to 50. People can have up to 10 different spirits that's around them, that's guiding them. Maybe you have a spirit that's here for wealth. Maybe you have a spirit that's here for health. Maybe you have a spirit that's here for ancestral lineage and DNA matter, fighting off generational curses for you. Maybe you have one, and like I said, we're going to speak about Igbe in another one, but maybe you have like a mate there, and this mate is walking with you, bringing women. Maybe this mate didn't get to come and be a human in this world, so your wife or your husband from the spiritual world is sending individuals to your life to learn lessons, and individuals who are more along your frequency that you can get. So when you find a soulmate, your soulmate or your twin flame is a experience, or you're witnessing a human form of a spirit guide, or this is a happening or a so-called good repercussion of those spirits being alive in your life, correct? Now, it's a small percent of ancestors that actually want to be in contact or actually want to actually help you in your life. Some people say it's a very small percentage of these ancestors, and this is why it's so important to honor them in the correct way, correct? And going into the ancestors. Now you have grandparents. We're talking about DNA lineages and legacies. Sometimes you just based on the blood, correct? This is based on the blood. They can be anywhere. It could be anyone. They can live anywhere on earth, but they will make themselves prominent in your life. Now, these ancestors that you're able to talk to, these ancestors that you're able to see, these ancestors that you're able to just get into a higher communication with, these are what we call ascended masters. These were spiritual beings that was living in the human form in your bloodline, and whether people knew it or not, they had a connection with the higher deities. So when they transitioned as a human, their soul had got granted responsibilities and duties to be able to help the people who come later on inside their bloodline. Now, some of these ancestors are assigned. Some of these ancestors are seasonal. So you might not run into a certain ancestor until you become 30. This ancestor made itself present at 30 because you are going to go through a certain season, a war, or a battle along that decade, and they need to make themselves prominent. Now, you might have temporary or seasonal ancestors as well. Ancestors that only come when you're having like finance problems, love problems, health problems, or just normal spiritual problems. So these ones are not exactly bound, like I said. These ones that come in, they help you, they sprinkle some juju on you, and then they bounce out to go help somebody else in the family. Like I say, this is a bloodline ancestor. This is a bloodline spirit. So the spirit that's helping me is also helping my cousin, is also helping my brother, is also helping my uncle at certain periods in time, correct? Now, some of them is bound at birth. So you could be born and your great-grandmother has been sitting with you since your birth, other than her making herself present when you run into certain complications in life and different things like that, correct? Going back to the normal spirits and different things like that. These spirits work on a 5-day process is what they say they work on. So if they come Sunday, it'll be Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. They will kind of, that energy will kind of be dull. This is when you need to offer the offerings, the prayers, and the libations during the lower frequency. A lot of people don't believe in that, but that's something that I was taught in the beginning. So I just thought it was real important. Now, I mentioned amulets before. There are certain amulets, there are certain protection pieces, and maybe I shouldn't do it, but I'll just flash it real quick. You have what they call egungun sticks. Egungun sticks that is present in worshiping the ancestors, correct? So we use that in communication. We use that in honorings. We use that during the offerings. We use that during the communication with our ancestors. That is not for all the other deities. That's specifically for the ancestors that have been consecrated and prayed over and blessed in a certain way to make it sacred, with the certain items that's in the bag, with certain items that's on it, has made it sacred based on those ancestors that we want to get in contact with to help us walk through. So there are certain amulets, pieces, and gungun sticks and different things to help you build this connection, correct? Now, deities. I want to speak about deities because they are part of spirit guides as well. They are part of spirit guides as well. Now, what do we mean by when I say deities? I'm sure I've used the term deity a couple times in this video, but when I speak about deities, I'm speaking about Buddha, Jesus, Muhammad, Krishna, Ganesha, all of the saints, Orisas. These are entities that don't have tombs or resting places. You can't find them being buried, correct? All the other deities, you can possibly find a resting site or burial site for them. These deities that I'm speaking about now is elevated astral beings, kind of like ascended masters. During their time in the human form, they were granted spiritually to walk a certain path to be able to guide a large amount of us through this process as a human. Now, these deities is not, of course, based on one person. So it's not like your ancestral lineage where my great grandmother is only going to help me in my bloodline. Of course, Jesus, Buddha, Allah, Muhammad, etc. is for all of us. It's for all of us to use their life story and metaphors as a way to walk in this human experience and become a better person, correct? These are some of the strongest spirit guides. Spirit animals are very strong, but these deities are very strong. You have ascended masters that's part of the bloodline. They're those are the head honchos, the ones that's like I saw the grandmother that was there from birth, and those individuals who make themselves bound to you during the seasons. Those ascended masters are the head honchos. You can have 50 different spirits around you guiding you, but it's that main one, that main Dandada that is there to control things. No, we think this should go this way, etc. These deities that I'm speaking about now, like I say, they are elevated astral beings. Remember I spoke about just a moment ago, I spoke about the astral realm spirits. These are ones who are on the highest frequency of that realm as far as spirit guides, correct? These are very universal. Like I say, they are for all of us. And that's why they are so strong, because they not only help the Chinese man, but they help the Arabic man. They help the African man. They help the European man. They help every and any individual who are on the frequency of trying to elevate themselves to get to a higher level of consciousness or just spiritual health, correct? These are the ones we consider demigods. They say it's demigods walking the earth right now as we speak, and they are ascended masters, and they will eventually become elevated astral beings when they reach the so-called heavens, correct? So that's just pretty much layman's terms of what the different categories of different spirit guides that make themselves present. Now, there could be a lot more different types of spirit guides. Like I said, this information is usually based off you. So if you have a different type of spirit guide in mind, that spirit guide is probably in existence in your world during this human experience that you should tap into. Not saying that this information is just restrictive, correct? It could give, it can take. Maybe the Egungun stick doesn't work for you. Maybe it's the satchels that work for you. Who knows? This is based off your personal experience, correct? So this is why I want to just give a quick rundown of different types of spirit guides, so you can make your own type of decision which spirits are making themselves present inside of your world. Now, what are the top ways that you know that these spirits are around? We have synchronicity. So you might be in sync with these individuals. I always tell people about the angel numbers. We know about the angel numbers: 111, 222, 333, 777, 999. We know about those individuals and those angelic numbers. And I always tell people looking for angelic numbers and skipping over angelic beings. You got angels in your life, and you looking for angel numbers. You have to tap into the spiritual essence of the energy that's around you, not only the numerology and different things like that, correct? Now you have music vibrations and different things like that comes into place as far as synchronicity. So when you get that feeling, hearing a certain tone, a certain vibration, you get that deep feeling. This is a part of it. The intuitive, number two, the intuitive thoughts, intuitive feelings, intuitive vibrations. So sometimes you just know, you just feel it. Not only angelic numbers, but you just kind of get those vibes in certain areas, those vibes out of nature, etc. Maybe, you heard the wind blow a certain way and got an epiphany. This is a spirit guide bringing those messages to you, so you can be more in tune with what is around you, correct? Dreams, visions and dreams, seeing things. I always tell people about NDE, near death experiences, OBE, outer body experiences, astral travel, levitation, astral projection, different things like that. Dreams and vision, deeper dreams that you wake into, those flame dreams, those deeper, like I say, those visions that you see. Sometimes you don't even have to be sleeping, just get ejected or infused into a whole world, so the things that you see, the visions, the sights, the things that you are able to see when the color red is popping out to you. I always tell people that the spirits are with you in the marketplace. So how do you know which fruits to eat? When you go to the grocery store, hopefully it is a organic store, and you are looking at the fruit. Next time you go and you are looking at the fruit, take 2 steps back from the fruit and look at the complete section and cross your eyes. Whichever color pops out to you is the colors of the fruit that you need to eat during that time. Sometimes it'll be yellow, sometimes it'll be red, sometimes it'll be green. But this is part of seeing the sights of the spirits trying to tell you through the signs, correct? You also get, number 4, you also get deeper feelings. So you might get these intuitive feelings, a feeling of warmth, chills. You might hear a certain thing, and it might infuse your mind or your spirit or your body into a realm or a state or a dimension to where you can elevate yourself, correct? Excuse me, I should have brought some water, but we'll be closing out here soon. Um, and also, once again, going back to the animals, number 5 of the different signs, the different animals. So, like I say, you see those owls, you run into wolves, bears, different things like that. But it don't even have to be spirit animals like I spoke about before. It could be simple as ants. It could be simple as a robin or a cardinal or a blue jay, a hawk, a owl, a eagle, etc. Any of those majestic beings, when they come and they make themselves present. We have a lot of deer here at the temple, and the deer are one of my spirit guides. I think it's a lot of people's spirit guides, but the deer are one of my spirit guides, and they kind of just be staring at me, like we have a peach tree out in the front. So they be always trying to come see if, any fruit is around. And they kind of just always be staring at me in the middle of the front yard. We by woodlands. So they come through the woodlands and kind of creep down. And we kind of just have this mental telepathy communication real quick while they're there checking out the area. And it's like, okay, you good. We guiding you. We around. This is a place of peace. This is a good frequency, a good velocity of energy and frequency around here. And that's what I mean. When they make themselves present, or the dogs are attracted to you, the cats are attracted to you. This is a way, or this is a sign of the spirit guides are making themselves present in your life as well. So I don't want to linger too long. I didn't want to make it too long. I said I was going to give it a half an hour at best. Someone asked about the offerings. Tobacco. They have specific spirit guide candles that's available. KwofiKhAn.com. That's one of our newest products. You have the Madama and different things like that. Look up the Madama. They have spiritual cleansing, spiritual baths. Once again, I spoke about the candles, the yellow, the white, the orange, the blue, crosses. People ask like, yo, why do you have a cross on your ancestral altar? Because no matter how much I believe in the Ankh, I have the Ankh tatted on my hand. I know what the true cross is, but my ancestors were Christians in slavery all the way up to my grandmother passing. So that's what those spirits and energies believe in. So who am I, just because my emotional beliefs about the cross, my educational beliefs about what the cross stands for? We know it stands for death. We know it stands for they nailed Jesus on the cross and we don't want that velocity. But my ancestors have used that image as a way to tap into. So while I'm trying to please them, I have to have that same energy present. So that's why the cross, you will hear us speak about the cross dealing with the ancestors, even if we are Ankians, right? Even if we are Ankh masters, even if we believe in the Ankh to flesh and blood, we have to still honor the ancestors in the correct way, Ashay. Also brooms. Brooms above the doorways is a different type of thing, but also brooms near the ancestral altar is an old way to tap into it. And like I say, igungun sticks and different things like that has been consecrated and blessed in sacred ways to be able to connect with their ancestors in the right ways, correct? I want to tell people about when you start going through the 5 signs. Now, there's more signs, but when you start going through those signs, don't get too depressed. Don't get too much anxiety. Don't get just the lower vibrations. You want a higher frequency when dealing with the ancestors or spirit guides or deities in general. You don't want any hesitation dealing with the prayer and meditation. Excuse me. You don't want any delays. You don't want any sort of being paralyzed with the spirit. So this is why the offerings and honoring in the correct way and having faith. I tell people, put your hope inside of a basket and push it in the water. Get rid of the hope. Only have room for faith. Faith will allow you to know. Faith will allow you to know. It will allow you to be free. It will allow you to be liberated. It will allow you to be a revolutionary. It will allow you to be able to get the energy to access the powers that you need to unleash who you are supposed to be, the powers that you need to walk the path, the ori, the destiny that you are supposed to be walking. The thing about the ancestors, these spirit guides, these deities, entities, they want you to be successful as a human. They want you to be happy. They want you to be healthy. They want you to be wealthy. And they want you to love and teach other people. So they're going to do as much as they can to guide you to that frequency. It is up to you to keep the mind strong. It is up to you to keep the heart strong. It is up to you to make sure that you are in alignment of frequency, that you can get the messages that they are trying to send to you. Once again, don't get so caught up on angelic numbers that you skip over angelic beings, correct? Pace yourself, gain patience and humility, and believe in yourself with that faith. Spirit guides will make yourself more present, correct? So I hope that this information have taught you something. I hope that any of this information blesses you as far as moving towards spirits, moving towards ancestral communication. Remember that spirits are airbound, so they're everywhere. So you can get in contact with them anywhere. Prison, out at the temple and the worship houses, outside in the woods, down by the river with Oshun, up on the mountain with Obadala, etc. Correct? So don't be afraid to connect with these spirits that's just here trying to make sure that you are living in your destiny, you're becoming the best version of yourself as a human, correct? So power is ultimate. Ashe Bakun. I hope everyone stay healthy out there, and I hope you learned something. Ashe.